You keep sending me reels from the Opportunity Party.
Disgusting.
Give me a breakdown because you follow them. How are they going?
So they haven't got a campaign team. They're outsourcing it via social media to figure out who wants to.
They're not outsourcing, they're recruiting.
Yeah, sure. They're recruiting via Instagram and saying, "Hey, if you want to do our campaign support for us, please sign up." And election's 6 months away. So if you're a really serious party, you would have done this last year. You would have hired the leader, you would have prepared your campaign team, and then you would have sat down and said, "Okay, we can go now." 6 months before an election, what are you doing?
They did hard launch with Q&A, and then from there
they just had her. They had her.
Q&A, the TV show.
No, I know. Just same thing. Her name is Q&A. Yeah.
QA Wong, yeah.
But they have her and a color and a logo. I have nothing against her.
The name. They went from multiple to singular.
Was it Tops Party?
No, it was Opportunities. No,
that's just Opportunity Party.
Because we run out of our options, mate.
It's just one opportunity.
Do or die.
The opportunity to work.
It is
for
funny
them.
as
That's
well.
the only opportunity.
They're like, this is the last chance for New Zealand. We are the savior. It's like,
you haven't got your own
No,
house. You don't have your own house in order, and you're telling me how to run the country. Go away.
no policies.
They do have policies, but it's like a tax policy. You think a minor party is going to overhaul the entirety of New Zealand's tax policy?
Yeah, sure.
No, they're not. What are they talking about?
I guess they're idealistic and they think they have good ideas that might catch on.
I have good ideas.
I saw this post today from this
Sorry.
communist.
No, you're right. No, sorry.
What a sad guy.
No, I was just saying it. You're right. But I'm
I'll
just
let
like,
that point stand on its own, yeah.
I have good ideas.
I've got good ideas. Now, I saw this Instagram page come on my Explore this morning, and it was a New Zealand Marxist page. So, like, the Marx community in New Zealand.
Oh, we on
they were like,
Chloe Swarbrick's page.
They were like shredding opportunity. And I was like, man, who is their audience? Because it's not conservatives. It's not Marxists and socialists. It is the greenies. Like,
It's Beltway people in Wellington, right?
yes.
It's like Auckland CBD and Wellington CBD.
It is.
That's
But the more like
What, homeless people?
they can probably better defend their budget than Chloe can.
Really?
Well,
Is it because they've got this to spread around?
they're more policy wonks in the sense of they can talk the detail.
Technocrats. That's exactly.
Can they? I haven't seen. There's a video you sent me the other day where the guy's, I don't want to have to leave New Zealand to get skilled and trained and upskilled. But why would I stay here if all the skill and payments elsewhere?
Yeah.
And he like asked her that in front of a crowd. It's like a town hall meeting. And she goes, what's she saying?
She's thank you so much.
Thank you. It's so good to hear you say that.
Any questions?
Yeah.
That's just her public relations like lack of expertise.
She didn't answer the question at all. He said, I don't want to leave.
No, but
To hear you say that.
you don't have to agree with their policies, but she's certainly had a lot more experience in the area of business and finance. And
Totally.
She's a lawyer, right?
Yeah, but I
Former
mean,
lawyer.
I think she's worked in finance and what was it, recruitment. I can't remember.
I used to do the
actually.
till at the end of the day in my retail store.
Yeah,
Does that count?
of course that counts.
Go run for the opportunity party. I'm gonna see
I
if they
really
have
wanted to
anything.
tag you in there post looking for candidates.
Looking for candidates.
I really
actually
wanted.
look. I should have done it and figured out what their whole shtick was.
And then I thought, nah, we shouldn't be seen to be publicly mocking them. And now we're here talking about it very publicly.
They're not helping themselves. If you're preparing to build your campaign team now,
Yeah.
6 months before an election, you're a joke. I'm sorry.
Now, admittedly, though, listen, let's say you're in a position where you need a coalition partner to get you across the line, just you and one other. And you don't
I need
heaps.
one more person.
You don't need heaps of people. You just need one. And it's you take her, or you take one of the independent multi MPs, or you take TPM. Who do you take? Those are your three options.
Oh, happily take one of the independent Māori ones.
Take Takatai.
No, the lady.
No, she's back in.
Is she back in?
Her lawyer got her back in, eh? Maria.
Maria Kapakingi.
Yeah, she's back
Maria
in.
Mino.
But
Take
she can
QA,
be.
or
Yeah,
you
she can
take
be.
Rawaki.
Takutai's. I don't know, but I won't take the QA.
Have you seen Takutai's campaigning online on how to have a hung parliament? And he's trying to get pretty much take
Are you
all
talking
these
about
votes.
Takuta Ferris?
Oh, yeah, his name Takuta.
Takuta, yeah.
What did you call it?
Oh, I'm
Takutai.
Takutai Tash Ferris, who passed away.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, yeah,
Sorry.
Rest in peace. Takuta Ferris.
Takuta, yeah.
Yeah. So he did this post the other day. They posted about how independent multi seats could effectively win the election, like hung parliament and stalemate everything.
Yeah.
Why would,
That's based on polling right now. And we're like 8 months out.
but then someone commented, okay, you want us to vote for you to achieve this. What are your policies? Doesn't have any. Is an independent. Effectively, he is on the taxpayer dollar to do. He just shows up. He clocks in. He clocks
To
out.
film videos with
This
weird
is the
smoke
problem.
around.
This is the problem with the MMP, though, right?
Explain that.
Because in the old days, if you were a lone wolf, you were just holding an electorate and you weren't under the aegis of a party, then you could just be drawn in to vote on things as you saw fit and wherever it suited the party to see if they could get you involved and get you to back their bill. But now it's a lot more complicated because of the waka jumping stuff. And people argue for the necessity of the waka jumping legislation, but it complicates everything, makes it much more difficult. And you can get sidelined more easily now if you're a lone wolf
If you're
in the MMP
independent.
system.
Yeah. I don't know how we can justify, because he'll be on salary wise, maybe 170 plus another 100,000 of perks, like over $250,000 every year of taxpayer money going towards funding him to just sit there. I could sit in the gallery. You tell him to sit in the gallery
Sure.
if he wants to be there. So
And the
bad.
thing is, he doesn't even sit there. Like the
barely shows
Māori Party doesn't even show up to the debates to the House. Well, they show up to debates every now, but they're not there half the time.
And this is the thing, that this is where democracy gets a bit sticky, right? Because ultimately it's down to the electorate
If
to
they
say,
vote him in.
hey,
Yeah.
we think you're not actually representing, you're not turning up, you're not doing the things that you need to do to represent us.
I think they are saying that. I just think we have to wait for a reset.
I agree.
Like, do you see Adrian, the Labour MP who's
Duffy.
retired? Yeah, and he's did Q&A on the weekend, but they asked him what he thought about Te Pāti Māori and his resignation and all those things. But I'm pretty sure he said that he would be surprised if they got any seats at all.
Yeah, lots of people saying
and
that.
there are people in TPM that are talking that way, that they're concerned that they've lost like credibility now.
But
That they've
they're
lost.
never going to get. It's too short a runway, in my opinion. But unless they get rid of Tamahere as president
Yeah.
and get rid of Rawiri as the co-leader and
what
Put
his
they're
wife,
on real serious
They're
people.
not,
Yeah.
unless Tamahiri steps down,
which he never will.
he won't unless he's.
Well, how much is
absolutely
enough
forced.
though, eh? Because like surely he's lined his pockets enough. He's multi-million-dollar house.
I think it's not just about the money; it's about control.
yeah,
Ego's a massive part of this thing, and so the same with Kitty, with his daughter.
yeah.
You saw what happened.
She's unhinged.
You saw what happened after her husband gets up and addresses Kapakingi, right? And basically says, "Look, let's make amends." It wasn't like an outright apology, but it was pretty close. And then his wife gets up in the haka that follows and goes right forward and gets right in front of Eru Kapakingi's face,
Wow.
right? And he's sitting there with a little bit of a smile on his face, yeah, whatever. But that people go, oh, that's just all part of the drama of marae when you have these hui and stuff, and you have people going forward, and it's just symbolic, it's ritual, it's just a sign of respect. But everybody knew that she was deliberately disrespecting him by going forward like that and basically still challenging him. Dude, if your own wife is going to go forward
Undermine
and
you.
do that,
Yeah.
then I don't know how.
Well, considering what is her role? She isn't got an official title, does she? Or
No,
is she
she
the
does.
chair?
She does. She's the
She the CEO? No, Tamahere is the CEO.
she's one of the top organizers, one of the
Yeah.
top office
Wow.
holder, top party organizers.
Yeah, because that's tough. Eh?
I'd have to look up her exact role, but yeah.
It's a shambles, eh?
They're a
But to try and play devil's advocate, is the right bloc looking any more unified? Sure, they don't have some of the same organizational breakdown and some of the same structural breakdown.
Oh, yeah. You're saying-
But there's some pretty big disagreements emerging there
For sure.
amongst the immigration issue, the free trade agreement, some of the education stuff.
Yep. National can't afford, in their view, they can't afford to let immigration drop because it's keeping the economy looking.
It looks a certain way.
Yeah, it's beefing up the economy, which is anemic at the moment.
Cooking the books, mate.
It is because it's, to a large degree, it's inflating actual economic performance and giving a false impression.
Mate, what we need to talk about, because it's heating up again, is this under 16 social media ban.
Stupid.
What?
Stupid.
So Australia, right? Meta's come out and said that it's not going well in the sense that all these kids are still online. They deleted 5 million accounts, but you could have multiple accounts. Now there's all these kids who are coming out. There's a headline the other day that said fake birthdays and social media use. And this kid you just enter your fake birthday and you're back in, or you use your brother or your sister's name or your birthday, you're back in. And then Meta's big issue is you parents demanded this of us. You've now put us under extrajudicial powers or extraterritorial powers. We could be fined millions of dollars. And because the government said that kids aren't allowed online anymore, you've stopped engaging at all. You're not even monitoring what your kid does on the computer. And you cried and you whinged and you said, oh, we need this. Our kids are in danger. And the second it passed, they're like, oh, sweet.
Cool. That's exactly what we
And they
predicted as well.
disengage fully. So now there's even less oversight around what children are doing online. And you would think, well, this would be reason enough for our government to say, well, maybe it's not good enough. But then Luxon gets on Hosking last week,
Yeah.
says, oh, yeah, we're pursuing it. We're going to go for it.
And Husking says to him, it's probably not going to work. And he says, we've got to die trying.
Yeah, and he
Well-
said, "Oh, as long as we capture 70%."
Yeah.
I'm like,
Why
70%?
70%?
Where'd you get that figure from?
yeah.
They
that's
just make
us.
it up. They make it up.
Of course. Because it sounds reasonable if you say, of course, we can't capture everyone, but we could get 70% of kids.
Who said 70%?
That's,
You're not going to get
that's a kind
70%.
of critical mass that'll turn the tide.
It's the mirror of the
I'm
other
just
number
making
that
that number up.
it's the mirror of the other number that Hyde puts out, where he says if you can get a third of people in a community involved or invested, and it's okay. So you're trying to get the other 2/3 through legislative enforcement, when actually you should be focusing on 1/3 through incentivization, education,
Culture.
culture. And that's the approach of the government. It's way easier to try and beat this thing into us than it is to incentivize it and, and reward people through any number of mechanisms. I'm not saying they should give out KFC vouchers and things like they did for the vaccine, but incentivize it in some way to have a community opt-in.
This Roblox example where you're seeing the chats that kids are going on for Roblox, there's pedophiles grooming kids on that. That doesn't come under the net of those covered by the legislation.
But do you
in
remember
Australia?
when they announced the list, Roblox was left off, notably,
Yeah.
and there was huge uproar?
Because people
said,
anticipated. Yeah.
So you want to bring this thing in to protect children? You're leaving out the one of the primary ways children are groomed.
Yeah.
And they said, but it's a game and we'll monitor it.
Yeah.
And it's come out pretty. What's what I'm looking for? It's without a doubt what's happening on there. And they said, oh, we'll look into it. So this whole thing isn't about child safety. There's some backdoor deal somewhere where Roblox has got an exemption, or they've justified it somewhere where Roblox doesn't have to fall under the remit, but these other companies do.
Yeah.
What is it? Is it that Roblox is too hard to
Obviously,
fine, or
most people, the average person's thinking, yeah, child safety. I think there are people that are certainly pushing this campaign that have more than just child safety in mind. They're looking at it from the point of view of, hey, there's some kind of financial advantage that I can
It's
gain. from
commercial
this through-
interest.
Yeah, through advancing my company's interests.
Well, that's why Australia got revealed. The two in Australia, the two guys backing the ban the most,
Yeah.
who lobbied it,
Yeah.
had huge commercial interest in the health sector,
Yep.
and that's the same as the Before 16 leader, Cecilia Robinson. I think I sent us the video.
Yeah.
Has all these health services or health providing services or this framework for mental health and all these things. It's the same as people like Joe Robinson and that, who, by the way, asked for a meeting with us, and then when we followed up, didn't want the meeting with us, which is great. They have a commercial interest, because if you become a primary or preferred service provider when it comes to things like social media addictions counseling or education around social media safety, you are now eligible for millions of dollars of government contracting. So on one end, we've got people's rights, online privacy being infringed upon, parents being cut out of the loop when it comes to what they can do as parents. And then on the other side, you've got these ladies who are just cashing in checks with the government and getting high fives and slaps on the back and meeting Erica Stanford on the steps of Parliament.
Yeah.
This is so clear what's happening that is not about child safety at all.
I think that people have to declare a conflict of interest, like even if it's an intention. You set something up and then you look to swoop and advance your company's interests, or even a company that you haven't created yet, but you see the opportunity. So it's all pretty cynical, really.
If people really wanted your service, they would come and find your service. But by it's bullets and bandages. You create the issue and then you create the solution, and then
I
you have the
mean, I
government
wouldn't say they
fund-
created
fund
the
you.
issue. I'd say
They've
they've proposed a
exacerbated
solution.
it.
They've proposed a solution because there's clearly an issue there.
No, but hold on. Is there an issue to the degree or with the description that they're describing? Because sure, social media.
They haven't. This is my problem from the start. They haven't been precise in diagnosing the issue. Yes, there are issues with social media. What specifically is it? One day it's the ideas that are on there. One day it's, oh, there's so much hate speech and misogynistic and male hating content. The next day, oh, it's addictive. Okay, what exactly are we trying to address here? Is it the ideas or is it the addictive nature? And if you can actually identify the issue and be explicit about it, then you can start building policy around
But
Oh,
it.
you can argue that both are a problem, eh?
Well,
the
sure,
addictive-
sure, I'm sure there's extremist views, but how are you going to address it? How are you going to address extremist content online? Are you
Oh,
going
no,
to just ban
this
it?
is where I agree with you. Like I'm saying that the solutions, that's where debate needs to be had, right?
But even-
But I think people are generally recognizing across the board that there are major issues here.
No,
Major-
okay.
there are problems.
That's
There are
what
major
they say.
problems.
That's what. No one's ever denied it. No one's ever denied it. Of course, there's issues, but we can't just keep saying there are major issues. Define the issues, because if you want to say addictive nature, that is literally what social media is. It's designed to be just like a slot
Yeah,
machine to reel you in. So if you don't like the nature of the product, don't use the product.
And that's what I,
And you can't
that's
get
what I
them
would
to change
advocate.
it.
I think that's what we're saying, right? Is
Yeah,
that
but there has to be an
you don't need to
independent
bring the
personal
government in
decision.
for that.
Yeah, there has to be a personal decision. Yeah. But what these ladies are doing is they're saying the only solution to these problems is, first of all, a ban, secondary, consultation with us. and don't even worry about it because the government will pay for it. That's the genius thing. Is because it'll be free, it'll be opted into because they've created this hysteria.
What's free, sorry?
These services.
The ban. Oh,
Because once they're government funded, it'll be subsidized. It'll be either free in low decile areas or low socioeconomic areas, or it'll be. They do these talks, and then they gain a pseudo credential or credibility where they are the New Zealand leader on social media safety, and then they go to these conferences and they go to these roundtables and they get all this profile, and then they charge through the wazoo, and then guess what? At home, their kids are on social media. They're still doing all these things. Like, they're not bothered at all. And they don't actually have any, in my view, it's very shallow empathy for the general public.
And inevitably, what will end up happening is these social media platforms will increasingly be tailored towards adult content because it's just adults on there, even though there are children now on there. But because we think,
agree.
we've taken all the children off,
Yeah.
that's all just adult content. And not to say that adult content, there's going to be pornography flying around everywhere.
Yeah.
But even just the discussions of the
There already
content,
is,
but it depends on the
there's
platform.
like so much.
People are always on about, I've seen too much pornography on my reel. What are you doing? What are you scrolling? I've been on Instagram for I don't know how long. I ain't seen no naked nothing.
I just see memes and sports violence.
To be fair, though, like X had a bit of a
no,
problem
X
in the
is
last year
terrible,
or two.
yeah.
There's a massive
That's
amount of
Elon's
stuff.
fault.
Elon Musk runs the
Did you
algorithm.
see Elon, the emails that came out from the Epstein files that he was in?
Well, he got invited to the island. He's sorry, I've got a
He's
conference.
like, I run 3 complex companies and I've got a rocket launch. Coming to spend time with you and bureaucrats is not a good use of my time.
It's so good. He had no idea what was
Speaky, eh?
No, but then it's funny because it's like he's clearly denying invites or declining invites. You sent through about jury regulatory reforms, all the calls that have happened in the UK to change the thresholds around jury trial.
Sure.
Well, people have started talking about it here too.
Yeah, so let's go into this because I think this is an
it.
issue that isn't. You're the first person who's brought it up in my knowledge. So let's talk about it because it is a serious issue. Once I looked at what you'd said and had a wee look at the story, it's crazy.
Yeah, so it was the head of the Victims Association, I think it's called, in New Zealand, who was saying maybe we need to start looking at jury reform because we've got all these people that are basically being told you have to come in for jury duty, take time off work. There was a South African guy who's apparently a very busy guy. I'm not going to doubt that. But he goes and he says, I spent 3 days waiting around to be selected for a jury. I was really excited about it at first. And then I was like, oh, this is a waste of my time because they're not picking me. I was like, okay, cool. One anecdote, who really cares? I've been called for jury duty before, been summoned and I didn't get on in the end. But hey, it's just I just see it as part of my civic duty, right? If we want to be important, if we want to be responsible members of a democracy, then we have to play our part. That doesn't just mean voting; it means doing a range of things. And so, anyway, some people are saying, "Oh, the jury system is so antiquated. We need to modernize it." I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, this is the problem, right? Like, oh, we need to digitize it. We need to reassess how much people are being paid for time off work, all this kind of stuff. I think ultimately the debate that's emerged in the UK is where they've had David Lammy, who is the Home Secretary, I think. He basically said, oh, look, we need to reform our juries over here. We need to get like magistrates hearing these cases and deciding over them instead of juries.
Almost immediately.
Very quickly, it was like, let's just make a whole lot of these types of prosecutions, trials, magistrate only rather than jury. And
That's
people
what in the UK.
in the UK,
Yeah.
people in the UK have really taken very
Strong
angrily
positions.
to
Yeah,
this.
good.
And they've said, nah, this is guaranteed under Magna Carta. It's 800 years old. A trial by jury, the jury of your peers, that's considered a fundamental right in the
It's
parliamentary.
protection over the overreach of the state, right?
Yeah,
It's-
that's right. That's right. In constitutional democracies.
There's 2 elements, right? There's the perceived undue burden on the potential jury members, which again is your civic duty and actually a luxury that you're afforded in this place, and something that we should all be grateful for that other people would serve that when needed. But then the other things that they're going to probably argue is what you mentioned, which is expediting the court process because the courts are all backed up. The courts are backed up everywhere. Oh, 6 months, 12 months, 18 months for a court. So they try and justify it. You get people on board with that. Oh, it's going to waste your time less. It's going to waste court time less. And then what you do is you set up hundreds and hundreds of little courtrooms with only one man with sort of power imbued in him. He doesn't even probably have enough time to take the case at more than face
with depth,
value.
yeah.
Sounds like a good way to get more people in prison.
Yeah, but I think this is the problem, is that the value in having a trial by jury
Yeah.
is that you not only have more people considering a case, and some people, like judges, know more about the law anyway than jury members, but the point is that what it does is it instills more confidence in members of the public. Now, some will come away from a jury experience and say, that was terrible, we made the wrong decision, and I argued against it, but everyone else is like, nah, the guy's guilty or not guilty or whatever. But most people that serve on juries will go through that process and go, hey, it's definitely not perfect, but we are able to see for ourselves how our justice system works. We even had a hand in the outcome. And that is a major part of sustaining democracy in not just a political sense, but in a cultural sense. And I think people in the UK are recognizing that. And they're saying, yeah, it's a bit of a schlep. I don't really want to have to take time off work, especially when I'm busy. But think about this for a moment. This is not a unique phenomenon. Someone didn't just introduce the trial by jury 10 years ago. This has been used by our parents, grandparents, and going way back, right? And it did, for the most part, work compared to the alternative. You go to France and they have magistrates and they just go, nah, you're guilty based on this legal reason, and that's it. Now, hey, again, you can make an argument for perhaps better legal accuracy. Ultimately, that sense of fairness and that sense of equality before the law is reinforced, I think, through jury service.
Yeah, it's government by the people. It's literally government by the people. You know what I mean?
It is.
With this country and the way that it's going, it's decided by us, by me, you.
And it is a key way of preventing corruption or minimizing corruption, which is a problem that we are increasingly facing, is that we are dropping in the ranks. And in terms of actual cases per capita of corruption, that is worsening in New Zealand.
It's this pursuit of efficiency that we love to see in other areas, of removing some of the regulatory framework from building and making a few other things more efficient to help the economy grow and thrive, self-driving cars, all these things.
Yeah.
But when it starts to bleed into these core things of justice, justice should be just, not efficient.
Yeah. And can I just point
Well
out,
said,
in
well
terms
said.
of efficiency,
Yeah.
like efficiency is important, and so I wouldn't minimize that at all. If we are experiencing a backlog on the courts, it's not because we lack a number of people to serve on juries, because you've got the whole adult population in New Zealand to draw on if you have to. The problem is that we don't have enough judges.
Yeah.
So how is this going to solve the problem of efficiency if we need more people who are experts in the law, magistrates, judges, and so on, to preside instead of juries to make those decisions in these cases? We now have to find even more judges, magistrates. How do we do that when we have a shortage of these people?
And I know 2 judges personally.
Yeah.
Both retired now.
Yep.
Or 3, actually. I know 3 retired judges.
Wow.
Gee, you're up there.
Look at
Just
you.
a man of the people. But I've only ever met one judge who I was surprised at how young he was.
Ah,
In Dunedin. When I was in Dunedin, there's quite a young guy who was a judge there.
Yeah. And you need a lot of experience and a lot of wisdom in the law to
Yeah.
actually get to that point of being a
Wow.
judge. Some
Yeah.
judges won't be as good as others, sure.
Because
But
we shouldn't lower the threshold.
no,
But how many people go through their whole profession and eventually move into being a judge?
not everyone wants to be a judge.
Yeah.
So a lot of lawyers will go, nah, not interested.
Yeah.
wow.
It's a real niche. It's like a real
Difficult job.
niche thing.
Yeah, and you have to satisfy like a lot of tests and stuff in order to get to that point, and you have to really prove it.
The good character stuff.
Yeah, that too. But I would just say this ain't going to improve efficiency. It's if anything, it's going to make it harder. And what you're going to do is you're going to cancel this age-old tradition, centuries-old tradition that has, like I said before, helped maintain confidence in democracy.
Trust, yeah.
Because ultimately you're there with an inside view of how the system's working in regards to justice.
We're going to court tomorrow.
Yep.
True.
Yeah. 12:15. When people listen to this, it would have been yesterday. So hopefully
We
hopefully
won.
we won. No, it's a case review hearing. So our hope is that the case just gets dismissed. Our hope is that the case just gets dismissed
Yeah.
because it's such a flimsy case in terms of what the police have brought forward for prosecution. To the point where initially they had him arrested and they said that he had assaulted someone and that he had done something else. And then when we went for obviously him to enter his plea, they said it was common assault, which is a way lower charge, but still significant for Auckland citizen.
What it was doing.
And then when we met with our lawyer, he said that the evidence is pretty overwhelming. Can't believe that it even got to this point where we're going for a trial, a judge alone trial. Judge alone. Oh, there we go. So hopefully we just get it dismissed.
Hey, how about this? Jimmy Lai, this
Hong Kong.
wealthy Hong Kong businessman who
Pro-democracy.
has been a pro-democracy advocate for 20, 30 years. He was arrested, he was charged and tried in Hong Kong for basically trying to
Free speech.
subvert Beijing's authority. He was advocating for free speech and a return to the democratic approach that Hong Kong had before 97 when it was taken over by China. And he's been given 20 years Apparently, they took off about 18 months in terms of leniency.
That's
of
sweet of
showing
them.
leniency
Yeah.
because he's 78 and he's
So
got
that's-
diabetes and hypertension. So
Wow.
they're like, oh, well, we'll take off 18 months.
That's
As his family
unreal.
pointed
Yeah.
out and his lawyer, basically, this is a death
The
sentence
distance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
because
Okay.
Life in
he's
prison.
going to go to prison. He's not going to get enough medical care there.
Wow.
His health has not been good already. And what's crazy about the situation is that I guess it's to be expected, but the decision was made up long ago in Beijing, and it's just effectively rubber stamping what the authorities in Beijing want. It's going to be probably the final nail in the coffin for Hong Kong in terms of the pro-democracy movement
Yeah, wow.
for the time being.
Yeah.
And what's really interesting in terms of bringing it back to a New Zealand context, Jimmy Lai is not reported on by RNZ in the Chinese language section. So even when they've had it in the English section of RNZ, right, they've written a couple of stories about him in the last year. This is something that Portia Mao pointed out, by the way, who is a Kiwi Chinese journalist, and she's been looking at all this stuff, foreign interference stuff, for a long time now. And we've been working with her. But she pointed this out in her LinkedIn post, and she basically said RNZ Chinese service, like, they don't report on anything really that's critical of
Wow.
Beijing. And this is a real concern. You got the Herald staff, all these other publications who are talking about it. Even the English section of RNZ will talk about Jimmy Lai and people like this and cover these sorts of stories. RNZ Chinese service, they aren't doing it.
Do they typically copy similar stories? Like, what is the Chinese service of RNZ for? Is it for like community nurses for Chinese people, or is it
it's
like
just-
actual
it's
news?
effectively,
That's copy paste almost.
It's translating stories that were in English, but also bringing material that might be unique to the Chinese audience that might
Why
not be
does it
reported
exist?
Well,
RNZ
because
is a
We have nearly
state-funded
300,000.
institution.
Yeah, but we have nearly 300,000 Chinese-speaking people, or people of Chinese descent in New Zealand.
Yeah.
So it's a significant population within this country. And yeah, sure, there's
But
an
to the
They
argument.
point
can,
when-
do it if they want to.
The point is that there are lots of Chinese language service media,
Yeah.
but they're usually
publicly-
privately owned.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's probably my question is,
Why am I paying for it?
yeah, because we fund a lot of Māori media, but that's our indigenous people. That's our national language. Sure.
I suppose it's about trying. Look, I'm not arguing necessarily for the pros and cons of public versus private media. I'm just saying that it's strange that especially a public
Yeah.
public
No, I get
funded broadcaster, when it's covering issues around this issue, when it's the Chinese language section, they won't touch it.
No, yeah, exactly. And then I suppose what makes it even worse is that they are public funded, like you say.
We've come to expect this from a lot of private funded media, and we're seeing this almost entirely occurring where there's this very pro CCP bias in Chinese language media in New Zealand, because a lot of these media companies are either receiving some funding or don't want to get on the wrong side of the CCP in China. So why is it happening with RNZ? It's not funded by China. It doesn't need to be on the right side of
Too
China.
afraid.
Why have we got these journalists in RNZ, the Chinese language service, avoiding these issues?
Might not be funded at organizational level, but definitely the individuals behind it could be.
That's a big call. And
I said might. I said
I don't have any
maybe,
evidence
we
to
don't
allege
know.
that.
I'm not alleging. I'm saying
I would, but if they want to stay on the right side of a lot of people in the Chinese community who are very pro CCP, then that might be one of the reasons. It might be they don't want to touch it because they will then have trouble getting stories from people in the Chinese community because they go,
Who
you're
runs it?
very negative.
Why doesn't Porsche one?
Because she's been blacklisted. She
By
can't
RNZ,
by many different
including RNZ.
people. I don't know the details in terms of her case.
Yeah, yeah.
What I know is that this is a Qantas
yeah.
Media Awards
That's
winning
terrible.
journalist
Yeah, yeah.
who's covered some of the biggest stories in
She's
the past.
fantastic. No, I know.
Yeah. But she can't get work in this Chinese language media world, New Zealand, because she's been writing articles exposing CCP influence.
Is there a way we could flesh this out from RNZ and figure out why they're not
we
running?
could
stuff?
write an open letter or
I
something.
think they need to be,
publicly.
they need to be challenged. We could think about how that's best done. But this is,
Because the implication is that they're willingly not writing something about Jimmy Lai because they don't want to
I think it's pretty
scare people
obvious.
off. Yeah, that's
by
the implication.
omission. By omission,
By
they-
omission,
they
totally.
are failing. The
But it's
Chinese audience.
almost implied because we don't. Obviously, we know, but we don't really know.
Let me put it this way: a story highly relevant to Chinese people in New Zealand
Yes.
about what's happening in Hong Kong,
Yes.
and our English section of RNZ will talk about it.
Yeah, no, I totally.
But the
oh,
Chinese
no, no,
English
I,
won't.
I fully
So I would
agree.
say,
yeah, no,
sure.
no, no.
And it's always hard. It is always hard to allege stuff because when people
No.
leave something out, it's hard to say, why did you leave something out as opposed to why did you twist
Yeah, it's
or
an act
lie
of
about
omission
something,
rather than
right?
commission. Totally,
Yeah,
I agree
yeah,
with that. But,
yeah.
yeah,
I think people in the media world here are very aware that this sort of thing is happening.
yeah.
It's hard to call it out though, if you're another journalist, because you'll be accused of like sour grapes or
Yeah,
being
yeah,
in
yeah,
competition
yeah,
or whatever. So we've got this issue going on, and it means that there's virtually no source of counter spin, or
So what's happening?
there's no accountability.
Careful.
Not counter spin. There's no not counter spin. You know what I mean?
It's like
there's
an independent media.
effectively there's no independent perspective
Yeah.
or coverage
For that community.
on these issues for that community in New Zealand.
On RNZ, yeah.
But
Just generally
in most
'cause-
places, stuff have really stood out
yeah.
because of their
Penfold or
investigation,
whatever,
like
yeah.
the long game documentary and stuff like that. But this is why the symposium that's coming up.
That'll be
See
really
that
good.
intro. See that
There we
segue?
go. The Segi.
Symposium that's coming up at Waipuna Conference Centre on the 21st of February,
Very good.
so Saturday week. It's going to be really important. This is going to be like run by the Trans-Tasman Alliance or Trans-Tasman
Fantastic.
Union, as they're known in Australia. And don't worry, people, it's not like a trade union like that. we always get people worrying about that. It's just a group of people that
Yeah.
are concerned about foreign interference from China at the moment.
Amazing. Could people listening come?
Yes.
Email us
And
if you wanna come.
yeah, we're going to put some links up because I haven't got them right here
Is there?
to hand. But
I haven't seen any promo for it.
so it's coming together. Yeah,
I mean, it's
So-
it's in 10 days.
Yeah.
I know. So we're gonna get some links up there.
Come on, guys.
Hosting,
For the
like,
Trans-Tasman Alliance. It's
they
a
have a page?
brand new initiative. They're just trying to
TTA,
figure this stuff out at the
Trans-Tasman
moment.
Alliance.
So I think they're going to need maybe some support and some help just to help.
we did put it out there. We simply to help them.
Yeah.
They knocked on other doors.
It's,
Maybe
no,
we
it's-
should
it's- it's-
we speak in
they-
Chinese.
they-
with that.
it's more the organizational side of it than anything else.
Yeah.
So-
Well,
But they've got some really notable speakers coming from not just New Zealand, but Australia, Taiwan, I
Wow.
think some US people as well.
Incredible.
come
And
on now.
They're going to
And
be
from NZ Pillar.
Hey, and I'm going to be speaking
There
there,
we
too.
go. That's included in the notable speakers.
The imposter.
There we go. No.
We'll,
Imposter.
we'll record your talk.
Not
I
the
reckon.
imposter.
We'll record
Thanks.
your talk and I'll
Thanks.
get you to wear a little mic and then we'll put it out as a special
Are you
episode.
doing it in English or in Chinese?
I thought I'd do it in Farsi as well.
Oh, fast.
Hey, and one other thing briefly while we're on this topic. In the UK, there has been a move by MI5, by their domestic
Saw that,
intelligence
yeah.
service, that they want to ensure that universities
Yes.
are actively looking out for and pushing back on foreign
Thank you,
interference,
Lord.
particularly from China,
Mm.
on their campuses.
God.
All around the UK. They called in all these vice chancellors from universities all over the UK. And at this conference they had, the MI5 director, whoever it was, said, we need you to be really proactive now in the space and
Wow.
understand what's going on. And this is on the back of what happened at Sheffield Hallam University, when someone who was researching
That's
the
right.
persecution of the Uyghur minority in northwest China was basically told, you can't do this research anymore because you're basically scaring off Chinese investment to our
That's
university.
Unreal. That's unreal.
Yeah.
That's unreal.
That's just one case. Now, this is produced by this research that they were drawing on, showing the problem amongst UK universities, which was released end of last year. That's from UK China Transparency. Now, this is a group that I had a meeting with last year when I was over there. And the guy Sam, who runs a lot of this research, he's fantastic. And he's really keen to see this issue
Zealand.
pushed in this part of the world as well. This hopefully the symposium is going to be one of those things that really helps
Initiate that.
kick this off and build some momentum in the space. Mm. There you go,
Very,
got my
very
bit.
exciting.
Here's my bit.
That's extremely exciting. I want to fight the Chinese. I want
Hey.
the US government to hire me as a spy. Look, if you're
I think
listening
you
to
just
this,
blew your cover before they even hired
guys,
you.
hey,
mate.
if
But
you're
yeah.
if you're listening to this, FBI, CIA, MI5, MI6, the whole lot.
the CCP, the
CCP,
IRG, they've
yeah,
now
yeah.
got you on their list.
My number one is
They didn't know already.
Mossad. Mossad, I'll do anything.
Shinbit.
Yeah,
I like
I
whatever
will-
you are.
I like tinkering with pages and cell phones.
No, I can't say that.
Yeah, of course you can.
You can. That was
Saw Mossad
amazing.
there.
That was my favorite thing that's ever happened.
Yeah.
Look, my CV's out there. I'm sure you can find it. Just send me a letter,
And hey, sorry, one more thing.
please.
The legislation that we've been drawing up
Mm.
around transparency over people working for foreign governments, not just China, but foreign governments that are known to be authoritarian, that persecute democracy movements in their own nations. That legislation, we're wanting to put that bill forward, and we're getting some good feedback already.
Yes.
Hopefully, we can get that in the
couple of
hands of people
judges.
who really care about this in Parliament, There's a growing number of people in Parliament that are really concerned about this, particularly the IPAC MPs.
Yes.
Yeah, hey, watch that space as well, because
ready.
this is something that Pillar is going to really be leading, I think, on in this.
The Fit
area.
bill. Hey, is that what?
We've
Fit
rebranded
bill,
it.
Fit
Have we
bill.
officially changed the name?
It was difficult because before
FIRS.
it was the FIRS bill, the FIRS bill.
FIRS, yeah.
This is still achieving similar aims in terms of increasing transparency. It's not making everything illegal. It's simply saying if you're not upfront and honest about who you are in this
could be
country,
prosecuted.
when you're representing, if you represent a foreign government in
If
some
we
form,
find out, we're telling on you.
hey, if we find out, if our police and intelligence services find out that you haven't actually been honest in your
You're
declaration,
in deep.
then you could be prosecuted. Yeah. And that's really important because what we're doing is we're still saying, hey, you can have alternative political views if you want. But if you're officially or even unofficially representing in any substantial capacity a foreign government that has been designated as a potential threat to New Zealand's democracy, then you've got to be upfront about that. Failure to be upfront about that, that will get you investigated. And this is no different to like customs declarations.
Yeah.
You know? Immigration declarations when you come to New Zealand. But this is now on those people to ensure that they do this. If we can get that before Parliament, if we can get them to actually pass it into law, it's going to take a lot of pushing.
There's some cross-party interest, obviously. We had a
Yep.
meeting with IPAC members. I was a little bit disappointed to see the list of IPAC members who signed that open letter in support of Jimmy Lai. Only 2 New Zealand MPs were on there, Helen
didn't see
White
that.
and Laura McClure. So none of the national guys put their name to it. And unsure why. Like maybe
Did they even see it?
Exactly. Extremely busy, obviously, in some of these cases. Simon O'Connor, though, shared that list of who'd signed it. A ton of names from around the world. We also had that press release that you sent through this morning, Arian, around Transparency International NZ. So it'd be cool to talk to them, make a connection with them. Effectively, this issue is just getting bigger and bigger, harder and harder to ignore.
Deny. Yeah.
It's a huge reason why we started Pillar, obviously, because we wanted to engage this issue directly and head on. I hope that our Parliament has the guts and the courage to actually do something significant and then adopt the Fit bill, because it would send a signal to China that they can't just be flippant with our rules and regulations and laws here in New Zealand. They obviously don't respect democracy, the way they treat their own citizens. And sure, they're a huge trading partner, but what are we trading away? It's not just our goods and resources, it's actually our integrity.
Nice.
Yeah.
Said.
Some people are
Don't
like,
touch my
"Oh,
democracy.
This bill is just.
They touch my democracy.
Some people
don't tread on me.
Some people are going to be like, this bill is, okay, big deal. Like you're just asking the spies to step forward and say, hey, I'm a spy. That's not what we're doing with this. What we're doing with this is it gives law enforcement and intelligence services a tool to hold people to account. Because they will have information that they're privy to that they'll come by. And when someone has deliberately failed to declare this type of interest, this type of activity, then the authorities can say, you've
illegal.
actually, it's illegal, and you've lied about this by omitting it.
It's like those.
So that gives us a substantial tool in order to deal with these people.
It's like those forms at the airport that you fill out, and one of the questions is, "Are you a terrorist?" No terrorist is going to say, "Yes, I'm a terrorist."
Well, Brenton
but-
Tarrant did.
I don't know. Who
Yeah,
that is.
yeah. If
that
you
guy.
follow
Yeah,
on his
yeah.
story.
Yeah. Did he?
No,
Not on his form. He said it in
I
court,
mean,
but
the point is, he wanted to be called a terrorist.
that is recent, though. He's only just said that in court.
Sorry, segue.
Take it away from his point.
Sorry, carry on. Sorry,
I'm wrong.
I interrupted you.
Nick got triggered by a keyword there that made us break
A keyword?
Thought train just went out. Yeah, okay.
Cheers.
Carry on.
But no, my whole point was no terrorist is going to say, "Oh, I am a terrorist." But what that does do, the reason they have that there is that is when they come to prosecute you, they'll say, "Look,
You lied.
you lied."
Yeah.
Which is quite funny because
Yeah, you're right. You're literally like
no.
supporting what I was saying, and I just went
That's
against
okay.
that.
Just
Any final thoughts, feelings, concerns, Mr. Hahn?
I was going to finish with, and this is not doesn't have to be a topic of discussion because we've run out of time, but the protest that happened yesterday in Sydney. Did you guys see that?
I didn't.
The
you
one that got
mentioned it.
violent.
Yeah. Now,
I saw something, yeah.
just to point out that, and again, it's not me taking sides with Brian Tamaki, but rather to show that look how restrained Tamaki and his crew were when they were denied access to the
Respect.
motorway, to the bridge
Mad
that they
respect.
wanted to march over.
Yep.
In this case, in Sydney, the crowd had been denied access to a certain road leading to the state parliament, I think it was, or to the convention centre where the Israeli president was speaking to a group of people there to
Jews.
support the Bondi victims. But I think
Wait, was Netanyahu there?
no,
No,
the
no,
president.
president.
No, they're not near. They have a president, like he's the prime minister, but they have a president.
Well, we
Oh,
haven't
yeah,
have
yeah.
a president.
Yeah, and he's a constitutional like figurehead. But
Figurehead, yeah.
but he was there to basically meet with the families of the victims of Bondi, and that was at a convention center. So the police, understandably, had that area cordoned off because they didn't need people turning up outside effectively a memorial event. Even though the Israeli president is a controversial figure, and Israel is obviously controversial in the world at the moment, and they also didn't want the crowd going down to Parliament. Now, there are some interesting rule changes in Australia around this. So this might be a topic for next time, but as we get a bit more of an analysis of what actually happened yesterday. But it just shows you people here have been relatively restrained in their protests.
Absolutely.
And I think that's something that we should be happy about. It's something we should continue to encourage, is that self-restraint, showing that you can protest but not cross that line and become violent. Hey, we haven't always been that restrained, obviously. Albert Park a few years ago.
Yeah, but there's a prevailing theme here as well.
Yeah.
What are the sorts of protests that get violent?
I didn't want to get a substantial.
No, let's be honest about it. The BLM protest that burned down businesses.
yeah.
You got Albert Park, that one side of that conversation made it very violent. Now you've got this anti-Israel protest that gets violent. And then yet the people who bear the brunt of these new regulations are those who have not been
peaceful,
violent,
yeah.
who are peaceful. You know what I mean?
Now,
I know what you mean.
I agree. Personally, I agree. I think that ideology is playing a role here in terms of how people express their views, whether they do so physically, whether they do it in forms of peaceful protest.
What's crazy to me is all of these people who do violent protests, right? They are showing you, and because they've convinced themselves, and these guys have got great imaginations, they convince themselves of all manner of things, that they're different genders and whatever. They've convinced themselves that democracy doesn't exist, therefore they need to be violent. Where these other people on, let's say what it is more of a right-leaning group. Oh, hold on, here's the lawyer. Hold on, pause. Hey, so sorry, guys, we're back. I just got a phone call from our lawyer. So there's a new prosecutor. There's a prosecutor who was assigned to our case a month ago who's been reviewing the footage. She was only privy to the edited version of the video, which actually cuts out quite a lot of
The bear
the harassing,
movement,
the following, and all that. So he sent her the unedited versions that we gave him that were unlisted. So she is talking about downgrading the charge to disorderly conduct. He's saying no, the charge needs to be pulled
Drop
altogether.
the whole thing, bro.
So the witnesses talk about Auckland citizen shoving them, where actually the footage doesn't reveal that at all. In fact, he was the one shoved, and the police report actually reveals that he was shoved first.
Yeah.
The lawyer Stephen was saying that he's gone back to them, given them all the things, including the disclosure package, the footage. They should have a formal reply this afternoon. But apparently, she seems like a young prosecutor who is just
Not
not
experienced.
not as experienced. So we should be able to get it all dropped. That is the update.
Yeah.
I forgot what we were talking about prior to that. Oh, the protest stuff. I don't know. We would beat around the bush. I think you can be principled, and you can be principled, but you can also be direct and not accusatory, but be very clear about what's happening. I don't think that we should avoid acknowledging that it's a certain political or social or cultural ideology that motivates much of this sort of
Agitation.
violent,
Yeah.
agitative protest. And this is what I was going to say. Even when the perceived left was in power, they burnt the cities down. And they lost power because of that. Then it shifts to a right of center power. And they're saying democracy's gone. It's gone because you believe it's gone. So you've opted into not respecting it from the get-go.
Yeah, and so the woke right, as James Lindsay calls it, also, if we're not
Implicated,
careful, prone to violent outbursts. They may not do it in the same kind of way. If you look overseas, there's been instances where it's not so much expressed through protest, but sometimes through more vigilante kind of tactics. So that's, I think, again, you've got to watch it. Any kind of extremism where people go, democracy's last say, like, we're done with it. When you hear people talking in those terms, then you got to really watch out, because that basically means that they're done with peaceful tactics.
It'll be, protest, online privacy, the economy, obviously, cost of living, foreign interference. All of these will be key features of the next election. There'll be a few other bits and pieces. The treaty will pop up again, and co-governance and whatnot. And for every update that you need, make sure you follow Pillar. Make sure you watch. Arian, any thoughts, feelings, opinions, questions?
No, I just want to say, stay in tune.
Are you doing the outro?
I don't know.
I was looking
is
for your
that-
final thoughts, because the next
right.
final thought was on the protest.
Yeah.
My final thought is just thank you so much for making it this far.
Yeah, I'll be honest, the podcast, we get quite a few people who listen all the way through.
Oh, yeah, same.
Which
I had someone
blows my
message me
mind.
the other day, a good friend of mine, he messaged me, he's like, man, the immigration discussion you guys had. And that was all he said. And I was like,
That's
oh,
funny, yeah.
he's been listening.
Someone asked me about the immigration issue as well, whether Pillar would take a position, and then I was like, funny, we just talked about that
Yeah,
on
yeah,
the
exactly.
most
So,
recent episode.
people are listening.
People listening, which we appreciate.
Thank you
guys.
so much.
The podcast is so that you can see raw behind the scenes of how we talk. We would have this conversation even if there was no cameras or microphones, which we do pretty much every day.
We should do a podcast every day.
No, we shouldn't podcast every day.
We should do 5 episodes a week.
I don't think there's an appetite for that. And if we were going to do that, we'd have to hire like an editor. But
We'd have to read more books, I think.
Yeah.
we'd have to have
Watch more
interesting
movies.
conversations. Nah, it's good. It's good. Anyway, final thoughts from me.
Sorry, I was going to ask you that.
We're going to yeah. Ask me. Go.
I don't want you to feel neglected.
Ask me.
Neglect.
Any final thoughts from you, Nathan?
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Nick. Yeah,
That's
actually,
right.
I do. We're going to court. We're going to win because we don't lose, mate. We never lose. Keep your eyes open.
We're going to win so much, you're going to be tired of winning.
Thank you, Donald.
Next time.
We are going to do the rebrand. We're going to be on university campus. A lot of stuff's going on, mate. A lot of good
Symposium.
stuff. Symposium,
Yeah.
events.
Yeah.
Oh, mate. Honestly, we're winning.
We've
We're
hit the
winning.
ground running, actually.
We've hit the ground running. Someone asked me the other day, a really amazing guy asked me the other day, what would I do with my life if I knew I couldn't fail? And I said to him, look, I actually think I'm doing it.
Praise,
Results pending.
praise
Winning.
God.
I'm not failing, but I hope to be a lot more successful in the space that we're in where we
Yeah.
can achieve real change. And I think we are making change. But anyway, those are my final thoughts, feelings, concerns. Ariane, why don't you roll us an outro, mate, and look down the barrel, let the people know.
Down the barrel. If you're watching this, thank you for
listening.
watching it. No, yeah, I just thought I'd look at the fellows who are watching it.
If you're too close to the camera, you're going to look cross-eyed. But
Nah, I think they'll like it. Especially.
Sorry, you go.
Well, look, if Mossad is listening, please, look, you can hire me. CIA, FBI, MI6. I'll do anything. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Stay in touch. Stay in tune. We will see you next Friday. We do love you. Hope you can love. Yep. Okay.
Bro,
But it
what's
was going
wrong with
so
you?
well.
What
It
is
was
wrong
so.
with you?
It's just the extra. It was the extra line at the end.